in our quest to live a longer, healthier, and more productive life, let's talk about some food supplements that can be incredibly beneficial. I don't know if you're like me, but the one thing that, even though I take food supplements, the one thing that I would prefer to do over the other is, instead of taking just a ton of different nutrients, I really have a lot of respect for those who can put together a formula that directs a specific concern that you may have. An example, let's say that you are dealing with digestive issues. There are so many aspects of having a digestive issue that you could take a ton of different nutrients to address each part of the digestive system. How much nicer it would be and easier for us to consume to have a nutrient that is synergistically put together so that it works to help each part of the digestive system. And then each part, because they're together, each one helps the other. So, and by the way, I will be showing you some formulas like that upcoming that I think you're going to be incredibly impressed with. I've recently met a doctor who is doing some of the most beautiful formulations that are so pure. They have absolutely nothing in them that would be considered toxic. I think you're going to be incredibly impressed with those things that I'm learning about. And I'll be sharing those with you in the not too distant future. So let's talk about, are food supplements beneficial? And we could spend a whole week on that, couldn't we? But it's a question that more and more people are asking and more people are looking for, because we're living in a very fast-paced, stress-producing lifestyle. As you probably have heard many times, the stress level that people are dealing with has grown tremendously recently. As a result, that stress level depletes our bodies of a lot of the healthy nutrients, or we're not getting it in our diets. So let's talk about how these food supplements could be beneficial and what they might be able to do to help if you already have a condition, or to even help prevent chronic disease. Most of us, without realizing it, unintentionally, I'll put it that way, have deprived our bodies, our cells of proper nutrition. Sometimes it's just because we are not aware, or we even think that some of the things that we're doing that are good for us probably are not. I'll just give you one example. Look how many people today are saying that they are sensitive to gluten. And it's been something maybe all their life that they have been able to do. And some of the things that are so simplistic that we've been eating for a long time are finding now that they are having negative effects on our bodies at the cellular level. So, and of course, things are always progressing and learning more all the time with the incredible research that's being done. So with their bodies and at the cellular level, we're going to do one of two things. We're either going to progress or regress. I think you know which one we all want. So that also means, as a result, that we will either regenerate or degenerate. I don't know about you, but I sure would like the regeneration of the cellular system because, again, it'll help us to live a longer, happier, healthier, and more productive life. And that's our goal. So interestingly, research is really, and on that note, what research is doing, I think you'll agree with me that we have a lot of people out there trying to make sure now that the foods that we get in the foods we get and in the supplementation, that we don't have to deal with the toxins that we've had to deal with in the past. But it's deficiencies through the overconsumption of, say, refried or refined foods, or things that just don't have the nutrients in because of the things that we've done to them to reduce the nutritional value. But a lot of research is being done on that, and they're finding ways to help improve the way foods get to us so that we can have the benefit of cellular regeneration. So with our aging, you've heard me talk about before that, as we get older, we do have a higher risk of dealing with chronic disease. And with that increased risk of disease, and I will mention, and I don't think that you will find this a surprise, the leading cause of health problems is cardiovascular. Interestingly, the next two leading causes of disease are cancer and accidents. And those two together don't equal the people that have cardiovascular diseases. It's huge. So since it is such a big one, wouldn't it be nice? That means that probably over 50% of us are dealing with that. So it's nice to do what we can, learn what we can to help reduce the effects of cardiovascular disease. On that note, for about the last 40 years, I've been working with a product that is so beautifully formulated that I've never seen anything like that one to help reduce even very serious cardiovascular issues. And on another broadcast, we'll be going over that with you and showing you in detail. It's going to be quite a discussion. It's going to take a little while to do it because it is so beautifully formulated. But just hold on for that one. I think you're going to absolutely love it. And especially if you have genetically predisposed to having cardiovascular disease, or you have it in your family. And quite honestly, all of us are probably at risk to having cardiovascular disease simply because of our lifestyle and the things we've done most of our life. So I'm looking forward to sharing information like that with you in the future as well. Another area that you're probably very well aware of is inflammatory issues, which is the underlying cause of autoimmune conditions. There isn't an autoimmune condition that I'm aware of anyway that the bottom line doesn't involve inflammation. So what is the why? What is the how? What is the what that we can do to help reduce those issues as well? And on top of that, all of this will also help reduce stress levels because we're overburdened with healthcare. And thankfully, the healthcare system is working very hard to help bring those things to us. We're not all the same. Genetically, we are dealing with things that could be so very different, even in the same family. One may have more issues in the cardiovascular area. Another may be diabetes. So many different things that we could be dealing with, so we're not all the same. Therefore, we don't all use the same nutrients. And that's again why I'd like to see where nutrients have been formulated in such a way that whatever your condition is, whatever your health issue is, you can get a product or a couple of formulated products that are working synergistically to help that issue. I think you're going to find some things that I'll be sharing with you in the future along those lines will be very, very, look very special to you, and you're going to want to know more about it. I can remember years ago when I was going to one of my doctors, and he'd always as many doctors do, offer the medical help for the condition that you're dealing with. But whenever that would come up, I'd say, well, what do you think about, and I would mention an herb or a nutrient or something that I could use instead. And we always locked horns over that. Years later, he's offering herbs for me to take. I said, wow, this is interesting. Years ago, if I said that to you, you'd be all over me. You know, you need to take this medication, you need to take that medication, you know. And it was more medical than it was nutritional. And I couldn't believe his response when I said that to him after offering me an herbal product for, you know, to help something I was dealing with at the time. His comment was, well, I was young and stupid then. Now, he's never been stupid, but, you know, because he's a highly professional doctor in that field. But he started working outside that medical box, looking at the nutritional and natural things to help the body heal and to be a healthier body. So I'm happy to see that a lot of the doctors are doing more of that now than ever before. So on your part, with your medical profession, you know, I don't ever want to, as you say, you know, fight with a doctor or argue with a doctor. Get the help you need. Of course, you're still going to need medical help, no doubt, at some point in your life. It was like I was telling my friends, you know, being in an automobile accident, you don't call your health professional, you don't call an herbalist. You better be calling 911 and getting yourself some medical attention. So there are times for the drugs, the surgery, but also if you can avoid that, and sometimes you can avoid it by prevention. Accidents do happen though, don't they? So we need to learn all the elements of good nutrition. Learn about which ones are helping you food-wise, nutrition-wise, supplement-wise. And there's so many things today that are being developed that are so much nicer than they were, say, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. And again, as we all get older, we're probably going to need more help along those lines. I'm sure that all of you are no different than I am. And my mission, as I've mentioned before, anything that we can do to improve, lengthen the productive years of our lives, that's my goal. And as you've probably heard me before as well, there are 4 main areas that we need to constantly consider and make sure we're doing the best that we can. And those 4 areas, not just the food we eat, but also the water we drink, the air we breathe, and yes, the thoughts we think. And I've learned over the years that plays a much greater role in our health, our stress level, our anxiety, and just being better people with those 4 things, including the thoughts we think.